and welcome on into the John Breslow Ice Hockey Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska, as we get set for the second matchup this weekend between the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the D3 Creighton Blue Jays. They played last night where Creighton came out on top 7-4. Me and Matthew were on the call for that one. We'll be on the call again this afternoon with you guys. Matthew, what did you see out there last night that's going to have an impact on the game tonight?
Well, it was almost like we played 3 games in one. Each period had a completely different feel to it. The first one, the Nebraska Huskers came out, and within the first 6 seconds, Caleb Coe got a goal right away. I wasn't even prepared for it. None of the guys on the benches were, too. Some of those guys were still getting set in, getting their Gatorade bottles ready. Some of them were probably still standing up from the anthem, and Coe just rips one in. And then soon thereafter, the Huskers get 2 more goals. They have a 3-0 lead after the first period. But it was all Creighton Blue Jay domination in the second and third periods. However, the third period was a little bit different. I know we'll dive into it a little bit deeper. There were a couple of penalty calls, a couple of ejections and things like that. I know some spearing was going on. Cager Lucas got banged up on a play, the Husker enforcer. But nonetheless, as you said, Ethan, it ended up being Creighton that came away with the win. This is their 3rd win in a row against Nebraska. They're looking to get 2 sweeps in a row. They swept Nebraska at their home ice arena last weekend twice, and they're looking to do it again on the road here this weekend as well. But overall, we're going to if this game is anything like the one that was played last night, we're bound to have some pretty entertaining hockey.
Yeah, this is going to be Creighton's 3rd road series of the season. They split their first 2. They're looking to get their first road sweep of the season tonight and continue their hot streak, coming into this game winning 5 out of their last 6 matchups. They're going to look to win 4 in a row against the Huskers here. We'll have starting lineups and face-off when we come back. You're watching Husker Hockey on Nebraska News Service. And welcome back on in as we are just about set for the opening face-off here in the John Breslow Ice Center between the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Creighton Blue Jays. We're going to have some starting lineups here for you. So for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they're going to be starting out with Jake Cavedo, Steven Adamski, and Shane Rothenberger as their forwards. And on defense, they'll have Cager Lucas and Zach Del Sante. And in the net for the Huskers is going to be Caden Quinn. As we get underway, the Blue Jays will be starting Caden Locker, John Bebler, and Camden Lai on their forwards. Lucas Manziargo and Tommy Sieve as their defensemen, and Joey Bertram back in net for the Creighton Blue Jays, as the Huskers are just moving the puck out of their defensive zone now. The dump in there from Cavedo, trying to establish some possession down low, and now Creighton's going to take it the other way through the neutral zone. It's going to be the captain, Locker. Locker working through a couple of Husker defenders, eventually recollects the puck. Now a centering pass from Locker. He's got a man, he shoots, and it is saved by Quinn. Lucas Manziargo on the shot there for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and Ethan, something that's a lot different from last night's matchup is that today we have two freshman goalies standing there in the crease for each team. Last night was a bit of a different situation as Charles Calderon, the senior goaltender, was back in the net for Creighton and was able to pick up that win, even though he let three slip by him early on in the first period.
Yep. Caden Quinn coming into this game had a stat line of 868 save percentage and 793 GAA, so not necessarily great in his two starts so far, but looking to have a good one today against the rival Creighton Blue Jays. The Huskers back in their defensive zone now, trying to work it out. Merchant can't keep possession. Camden Lai takes it away, and now he's got possession for the Blue Jays. Tries to center one for Hogan, but he can't get it. And now the Huskers working it the other way. Schmelzer dumps it in deep, and good job from Bertram to recollect the puck for the Blue Jays and send it back through the neutral zone onto the Husker defensive zone. Coe's got it now for the Huskers. He's looking for options. Tries to hit Schmelzer. It bounces off him and ends up in the hands of the Creighton Blue Jays. That is going to be Schumacher working up the ice for the Blue Jays. Schumacher centering pass. Great opportunity off the crossbar on the shot from Swiller. And eventually the Huskers come away with it, as there's now a battle in the Creighton offensive zone. They take it back. Shot not able to get through. Good defensive play there from Cager Lucas. Cager Lucas now recollects the puck for the Huskers. Lucas loses it though, and Creighton's got it back in the attacking zone. That pass deflected around, but the Blue Jays come up with it eventually. Number 42 on the near side takes a spill. That's Johnny McLeese. And eventually the Huskers are able to take possession as they're going for the run. It's Lazari. He can't come up with the puck. Now it's bouncing around, and Creighton comes up with it. Working through the middle is going to be Schumacher. He can't keep possession as Del Sante's got it now for the Huskers. Del Sante up the boards. Creighton takes possession back. Now that will be Soblansky, the man who got ejected in the second period last night, back in tonight for the Huskers. And working it deep is going to be Creighton. Chasing is Christian Pino. He can't come away with it, and Soblansky's got it for the Huskers. Del Sante tries to get it out of the zone. Eventually he does, and now it'll be the captain, Seibel, dumping in deep for a Husker change. And Creighton will try to set something up now in their defensive zone. Great pressure for the forwards of the Huskers. Eventually, after a battle, the Blue Jays come away with it, and they have a 2-on-2 opportunity if they hurry. Pino chasing after the deep puck, not able to come away with it. Good job by the Huskers for a chance to take possession, but eventually an errant pass and a shot and a score from John Bebler, and the Creighton Blue Jays jump out to a 1-0 lead here in the first period.
That is Bebler's 7th goal of the season. He had one last night in the third period. Things looking great for Creighton right now. Overall, they look a whole lot more aggressive. And Ethan, something else you got to take note of is that Joey Bertram is back in net for Creighton. This is the first time he's actually played against this Nebraska team, even though it's their 4th head-to-head game of the season. Caden Quinn played the second head-to-head matchup last weekend. So a bit of difference there as far as the goaltender position goes. A great goal nonetheless, though, by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Quinn was in net for that 6-4 loss a week ago today against Creighton, where they gave up 5 goals in the second period. This time, though, the Blue Jays strike first, take a 1-0 lead, but an icing will be an offensive zone faceoff for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And we'll see what happens here. Nebraska came out guns blazing yesterday. 3-0 to start off the game, and then they let Creighton go on a 7-1 scoring run.
Rothenberger tried to get a shot off the faceoff, but fanned on it. And now Camden Lye and the Blue Jays are working it the other way. Steve tries to keep it in the attacking zone, but he can't quite get there in time, and it will be an offsides for Creighton.
This is something we saw Creighton do a lot yesterday. There were a couple of close moments where they had to keep the puck in front of that blue line, but overall, Creighton, they've had the puck for quite some time now. Barely 5 minutes into the game, though. Nebraska could definitely turn the tide here.
And there's the dump in from Adamski. Both blue lines back on the ice for the Blue Jays and the Huskers. Del Sante sends it across, and Adamski picks it up for the Huskers. He's looking for Rothenberger, can't find him. And the Blue Jays got an opportunity as Locker dumps it into the corner, and Camden Lye chases after it. Now the Huskers got it, looking for Del Sante on the near side boards. Eventually, Adamski comes away with it, and he'll dump it deep. Adamski and Rothenberger will chase after it into the offensive zone. Misplayed, and now Adamski's got it. Adamski's centering pass just off and intercepted. Now the Blue Jays are going to have a look the other way. John Bebler working. He'll slow down. Now he'll find a trailer. Locker with the shot just wide. The net was open for Locker if he could find it, but he just missed that shot. And the score will stay 1-0 as Camden Lye picks it back up now for the Blue Jays. It ends up on the stick of Tommy Sieve. Tommy Sieve now sends it all the way through, and eventually it's picked up by Cager Lucas. Now Schmelzer trying to get it for the Huskers, and eventually they take it. Schmelzer does not retain possession, though, as Sieve gets it. And now a bunch of battling for the puck. And eventually, it'll be back to number 42 for the Blue Jays, Johnny McLeese. Johnny McLeese circling around before he tries to dump it up to Tam Swiler. He can't come up with it. This one off a stick, and eventually Joey Beester of the Huskers comes away with it and dumps it all the way down. And we will have an icing for Nebraska.
Beester was on the first line last night, started the game. Today, not so much. It looks as though head coach Nate Fuller has decided to change some things up, and honestly, you can't blame him after that, almost jaw-dropping series of events yesterday. We'll continue to mention it, but Nebraska opened up the game 3-0, and then Creighton just dominated after that offensively.
And there's the face-off in the offensive zone, won by Creighton. Johnny McLeese dumps it deep. It hits off the skate of the referee. And eventually the Huskers come up with possession on the near side. Beester centers it back for Schmelzer. Schmelzer now working into the offensive zone. He goes off the skate of a Creighton Blue Jay. And down there goes to Joey Bertram, and he'll just cover it up for a faceoff.
Schmelzer is one of those guys that can really create, offensive opportunities past the blue line. He's not one of those guys that waits for it to happen. He makes it happen himself. He's one of those facilitators Nebraska has. He'll head to the bench. We'll get a fresh line in there. But they're going to need guys like Ethan to get out there and create some shot opportunities, as Creighton has dominated so far in the first 6 minutes of today's game.
Creighton wins the face-off, and Caden Quinn will have to come out and clear it out for the Huskers. Now they got a 2-on-2 opportunity with Seibel with the puck. That one off the glove. Rebound chance for Seibel. He can't get it to go. Huskers retain possession. Seibel down in the low slot. Now a centering pass. Seibel tips it off the goalie. Another save, and now Creighton comes up with it, and they'll dump it towards the middle. And it almost a breakaway opportunity there for Alex Schumacher, but the Huskers are able to defend it. Now a good pass inside, and Creighton's got the numbers down there. Swiler looking across it. He can't find it. And now a couple Huskers go over to take the puck away from him, and Seibel's got it. Seibel looking for number 11, Christian Clover, but he can't come up with the puck, and Creighton will keep the pressure on. Now it's Merchant trying to find a way to get this puck out of the defensive zone, and eventually they get it over to Clover, and he dumps it up to Lazaro. Lazaro can't get a good clear in, and now Creighton keeps the pressure on. Not a full change there for the Huskers. But as Steve crosses over, it was Christian Pino on the near side that just went over too fast, and it will be another offsides on the Blue Jays.
Lazare trying to dump the puck there and perhaps get a line switch for Nebraska. Instead, they'll get one at this whistle. We'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. First one we've seen like that today.
Yeah, that was a much-needed offsides for the Huskers as they had a tired line out there. Now the blue line back in there for the Huskers, or at least defensively, as Del Sante had it. But eventually he was depossessed, and this ball is bouncing around right in front of the net. Eventually, the Huskers come away with it. But now Creighton's got it back. Shot from the point. That is going to be Wheaton on the shot, and the save made by Quinn. The score will hold 1-0.
Wheaton scored last night in the third period, and that one, the game was already kind of out of reach regarding penalties and honestly the score in general, but Calderon then scored after him. Wheaton is, one of those guys, bit younger side for Creighton. They've got a couple of great leaders, seniors. He's a sophomore forward, though. Could potentially get his name up there as far as goals go today. He was able to do so last night.
Now Creighton got in the attacking zone once again. They've got Sieve. Sieve off the pad of Quinn. Twice an opportunity down there for Creighton's number 18, Charlie Wheaton, and he couldn't find a great goalie work there from Quinn. Creighton stays on the offense, though. Pino centering pass, not quite able to complete it, and then it was Mazarigo that couldn't keep it in, and Creighton will have to reset. Now looking for Pino on the blue line. He can't quite keep possession, but Del Sante can't clear it the first time. Second time, Del Sante goes off the boards and clears it. Now Rothenberger trying to apply some pressure for the Huskers. Sieve takes it away, though, and Sieve going to try to work the other way. Huskers keep it in the zone, though. Great play there from Adamski, but eventually it's cleared out by the goalie, Bertram. Now Creighton trying to work an offensive attack in the neutral zone. That was Wheaton dumping it deep, and now the Husker defenseman's got it. Cavedo working it up, and Butts falls over. Looked like it could have been a potential trip there on Mazarigo, but they will not get the call, and Creighton will get the possession back. And now working it in is going to be Locker. He's got Bebler to his left as well. He shoots instead, and that one goes wide and wraps all the way around the boards. And a 2-on-2 opportunity. Beaster dumps it to Schmelzer. Schmelzer with the shot off over the pad and off the glove and in, and Schmelzer's tied the score at 1 apiece. Nice goal there from Ethan Schmelzer.
We were just talking about him, Ethan. Schmelzer's one of those guys that, inside the blue line, in that attacking zone, he makes things happen. He creates opportunities. That one, though, a lot of help from Beaster. A great pass, cross center ice, right to Schmelzer's stick, He just wraps one around, gets on that glove side of Creighton. And there you go. It's all tied up. This one looking a lot like yesterday where, it's back and forth. Very aggressive so far.
Now, immediate opportunity for the Blue Jays and Bebler, but he goes long, high and wide on that shot. Now Seibel working the other way for the Huskers. That one crossed over the middle, off the corner, and bouncing back in to the middle of the attacking zone. Creighton trying to get it out of there, and they do. Now working the other way is going to be Bebler. He's already got one tonight. He's looking for Camden Lai in the center of the ice. Lai shoots, great block there for the Huskers, and Lai will reset as now Locker's got it back to Lai in the slot. Lai shoots, great save there by Camden Quinn.
Quinn, he's had a couple close calls today. Obviously, he's let one go past, but overall, he's had a lot more work to do than Bertram, who's on the other side of the ice for Creighton. Quinn, he's got 10 minutes and 40 seconds left in this first period. If I'm him right now, I would dig in, because he's going to face a lot of shots just like that one where they're powerful right to his chest.
Yeah, faced 57 shots on goal in that match on Saturday where they ultimately went down. So definitely Creighton peppering Caden Quinn with the shots. That one dumped in, and Sobanski wins the race for the Huskers, so it will not be an icing, but he loses his stick in the process as the Huskers trying to find something offensively, looking for Sobanski in the center of the ice, can't find him. Camden Lai now picks it up. He'll dump it over and find Bebler. Bebler working in the neutral zone, tried to deke a couple of Husker defenders, but eventually he's depossessed by Jawan Kim. Kim dumps it in. Bertram picks it up for the Blue Jays and sends it back behind his net. Bebler now will send it out of the attacking zone. Not quite, actually. Keep it in. Locker back, and Creighton has possession in the defensive zone, but the pressure from Sobanski gets a puck. Sobanski with the shot. Great save there, though, by Bertram, as Sobanski with relentless pressure on the forecheck there got 2 opportunities for the Huskers in the attacking zone.
And now we'll see another stoppage in play as we just crossed the halfway mark of this first period. This first period looking a lot different than the one we saw yesterday last night, Ethan.
Yeah, pretty even first period so far. Well, it feels like Creighton's dominated a lot of the action, but it's even on the scoreboard right now. As now dumping inside is going to be Clements. He can't find anyone in the center of the ice, though, and the Huskers will repossess the puck. This one dumped in. Rothenberger can't quite keep it, and eventually it ends up on the stick of Sieve. Sieve to the center. Now it will be Swiler. Swiler's got it. He can't keep it up. Eventually a hit applied on the boards by the Creighton bench, and it will be taken away by Charlie Clements. Clements shoots it wide left of Quinn. Now trying to keep it in the attacking zone, and they do for the time being. Creighton does keep the attack on, and now Clements with another opportunity, skating all the way through the zone, and eventually it goes off a stick and into the netting behind the Husker net, and we'll have another face-off.
Ethan, we just saw, kind of a big hit in that area. Not as big as the one we saw last night from Henry Sabanski, though. He was actually ejected for delivering a hit against the Blue Jay in that exact same spot on the ice. Creighton's bench blew up in anger in Nebraska. They just had to make some room there for Sabanski to head on into the locker room. But that wasn't all. We saw another ejection in the third period. That one, Luke Joing for Creighton, had to leave that game for spearing as well.
Now Beaster's got it on the near side for the Huskers. He's looking in the center for Butts. And Butts is going to win the race down here, so no icing, but a good heads-up play from the goalie Bertram to clear it away from Butts. Eventually, the Huskers come up with possession now in the center. It's Schmelzer. He drops it for Butts. Butts with a good shot. Rebound chance. Can't get it. Schmelzer had a chance. He can't get it to go. Now Coe scored a goal 6 seconds into the game yesterday. He'll dump it in for the Huskers. Eventually, Joins comes away with it, but the Blue Jays can't clear it. This one going all the way around the attacking zone as Beaster will send it in. Merchant. Beaster with the chance. No. That one shot by Schmelzer and covered up by Bertram. A lot of opportunities down in the attacking zone for the Huskers, but they can't find the back of the net.
Saw Schmelzer kind of knock the puck away almost at the last second there. Bertram got the best of him, though, and covered it up. We'll see another face-off back on this side of the ice. First time in a while we've had consecutive ones over here. Nebraska, we've seen them do this where they give the other team a goal, they give the other team the puck for quite some time in the first half of the first period, but then on the back half they tend to fire up and make it a lot closer than it was to start the game.
And that one shot straight off the face-off by Christian Clover, and it goes off a stick and into the netting, so we'll have a reset here on the face-off with Siebel. Siebel wins it again for the Huskers, and Del Sante comes up with it. He'll shoot it in towards the net, goes wide, and now Creighton has the puck, but Sabanski keeps it in for the Huskers. This one dumped in deep. Lazari in on it. Lazari trying to pressure. He gets it. Seibel dumping into the middle. Off the pad and a shot from Clover. I thought that might have went. It did not. It went off the backboards. Great opportunity there for the Huskers right in front for Clover. Now they get it back in front, and another shot from right in front of the net. And both times standing tall is Joey Bertram for the Creighton Blue Jays. Cager Lucas now loses possession, and Camden Lai comes up with it for the Blue Jays. They got a 2-on-2 opportunity. Locker working inside. He can't keep it, though. Del Sante trying to take the puck back for the Huskers, and eventually he will come up with it. This one at the blue line kept in, though, by Creighton. Big hit late in front of the Husker bench, and the Huskers come up with the puck. Now working is Clover. Clover shooting from way out, and that one's going to be gloved and covered by Joey Bertram. And it will stay 1-1 as we take just under 7 minutes to go here in this first period, and another offensive zone faceoff for the Huskers.
See time ticking away. Still, it's always a tricky thing when it's 1-1, Ethan, especially when it's the first period, because you want to stay aggressive, you want to get hungry on offense, but the last thing you want to do is, have a situation happen where Calderon gets on a breakaway and skates down the ice towards Quinn. We saw Calderon score just like that last night, so... And it's not even Calderon, there's other skaters on this Creighton team that could do just that.
Now Creighton working once again inside, and a good play by Bo Shanahan to not give up the shot there. Rothenberger's now got it for the Huskers. Rothenberger ahead to Adamski. Adamski working 1-on-2. Adamski working through the center of the Creighton defense, and now he'll pass it over to Rothenberger. Rothenberger tried to get it through. It was deflected, and it's back to Adamski behind the Creighton net. Adamski working, trying to go near side post and just wrap it in there, and he can. Another save by Bertram, and another offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
So now it seems each goaltender, they've let one go by them. They've had their fair share of, taking a deep breath after a lot of shots have come their way. Now they've both dug into their crease. They're ready for a nice battle. I know we'll take a look at their stats again. Quinn had 2 starts prior to today's game. He went 0-2 on that. Coming into today's game, he had an 87 save percentage. On the other side, though, Bertram looked a lot better. And Ethan, I'll hand it back over to you. Looks like we've got yet another situation in the penalty box.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Shane Rothenberger heading into the box for the Huskers. I'm not sure what he did, but either way, this will move the faceoff all the way to the other zone. And a huge power play coming up for the Creighton Blue Jays.
Very interesting to see what happened there. They're talking it over with the coaching staff for Nebraska. I don't think Rothenberger really fully understands what he did as well. He's looking at his coach right now, looking at the refs. Some guys throwing their hands up, but we'll have to move on without him. 5-on-4 hockey coming up right now.
Now a power play opportunity for the Blue Jays, and Camden Lie's got it. They were working very well on the power play last night. 2 goals on the power play for Creighton, and now they'll try again. It's Locker down to Lie. Lie back up top to Sieve. Now Lie's got it back. He works it across the ice. Locker's got it in the low slot now for the Blue Jays. He's trying to work something, wrap around. No, he'll center it. Can't keep it in, and Adamski will send it out. And a quick change here for the Huskers. Just one player on, one player off. Adamski off. Schmelzer on. Schmelzer working against Sive. Tommy Sieve into the net. He tries to go short side on Quinn. Quinn says no. Locker now gets it up to Bebler. Bebler dekes out a Husker defender, and he'll try to center it to Locker. Locker in the low slot looking for somebody in front. He can't find him. Steve with a big shot from the point. It goes wide, and Schmelzer comes up with it, and he'll just send it all the way down past the Creighton goal, and Bertram will pick it up for the Blue Jays, and they'll try to set something up here. Schmelzer applying a little pressure, and now Camden Lie will set it up to Bebler. Bebler to Locker. Locker working it in. The captain for the Blue Jays trying to find something here. Eventually, he'll give it back to Lie in the low slot. Now Locker's got it back again. Bebler at the top of the zone. Trying to find Sieve. It was a great play up top by Beester, and it looked like it got out, and it did. It will be an offside on the Huskers, or on the Blue Jays.
Huskers doing a great job right now, killing this penalty, doing everything they can to get their point leader back into the game. Rothenberger had 10 penalty minutes coming into today. Now serving his 12th right now. Only 35 seconds left until he can come back onto the ice.
This will be a huge 35 seconds in this game, tied at 1. Looking to get a huge penalty kill here are the Huskers. Camden Lie now working behind the net. He'll go back to Locker. Now Steve. It's been pretty much the same guys out here the whole entire power play for the Blue Jays. They had a great opportunity in front of the net, but eventually they won't come up with it, as it's Clements at the near side boards. Gives it back to Locker. Locker with the shot. That one goes left of the net, and now it's in front and eventually kicked out. Camden Lie had a good chance, but another save by Quinn. Now a shot from the top of the zone and cannot get it to go. Another save from Camden Quinn. Tommy Sieve on the shot there.
Quinn doing a great job to close out that power play for Creighton. Rothenberger out of the box. The Huskers are back at full strength. There's only 4 and roughly a half minutes to go here in the first period. Everything looking up for Nebraska right now. They got a lot of momentum heading their way, Ethan.
Yeah, Rothenberger back out there for the Huskers now. And a big penalty kill as they're back at full strength as we tick right around 4 minutes to go here in the first period, tied at 1. Johnny McLeese has it for the Blue Jays. He's looking for Pino. Pino does come up with it on the end in the center of the ice here. And now the Blue Jays working into the offensive zone. Snap shot goes wide of the net. And the Blue Jays retain possession, though. Pino behind the net looking for something. He can't get it, but eventually he gets the puck back. He'll try to go short side on Caden Quinn, and Caden Quinn makes the save. Another save for the Husker goalie, number 95, Caden Quinn. And it will be another offensive zone faceoff for the Creighton Blue Jays.
Creighton still applying pressure, even though the Huskers are back at 5 skaters. We'll see what happens here. I'm expecting a lot of stoppages in play here.
The Huskers win the faceoff in the defensive zone, and working it up is going to be Caleb Coe. Now he'll shoot off a stick, and it comes in slow to Joey Bertram, who will just pick it up with his glove and take the offensive zone face-off for the Huskers.
So another stop almost right away. Coe doing a great job, though, flipping the ice here, moving the puck down into the offensive zone. Now it's Nebraska on the attack for the first time in a while.
The Nebraska third line, headlined by Jawan Kim, on the ice right now. And eventually it goes through, and Caleb Coe's got it. Coe working inside. He'll dump it onto the net again. This time Bertram will give it over to his defenseman. Now Sabanski's got it on the near side boards for the Huskers. Sabanski can't quite keep possession, but eventually it goes to Merchant. Merchant now from the point trying to get it through. It hits off the legs of Henry Sabanski, and the Blue Jays got the puck now. They're looking to get on the offense. Just dumping it in deep is going to be Dominic Corey. He was looking for a call there. He's not going to get it. And now the Huskers are working back across the neutral zone. It is Blake Merchant coming through. Merchant drops it. Can't find anyone. And now Tommy Sieve working it for the Blue Jays. Sieve with the snapshot, saved by Quinn in the chest once again.
Another save there by Quinn. But yeah, Corey was really upset. Threw his hands up at the ref. Nonetheless, though, we'll carry on. Under 3 minutes to go here, Ethan. And like I said, I'm expecting a lot of stoppages in play as it's all tied up here. So neither team is going to be excessively aggressive more than the other.
Now bodies flying down in the Creighton offensive zone. A short side attempt from Alex Schumacher. He goes wide, though. Now Creighton still trying to set it up. Schumacher's got it back. He goes off the stick of Del Sante. Now working down there's Cager Lucas trying to find the puck. And eventually there's a whistle. I believe they're signaling a hand pass. It will be, looks like an offensive zone face-off here for the Creighton Blue Jays.
Not exactly sure what that was there, but only roughly 20 seconds of play happened until that whistle was blown.
Now trying to clear it are the Huskers, and they will. Butts try to throw his hand up and come down with it. He can't. And Creighton will dump it right back in and keep the pressure on. Clements working down on Del Sante. Del Sante dekes him out, though. Dekes another guy out, and Del Sante will send it up to Butts. Butts trying to get through, but Steve says no. And the Blue Jays have the puck back. Now Butts working on the far side boards trying to get it. Eventually it goes all the way around to Steve and back through to Swiler. Swiler looking to cross to Schumacher. He can't find him. And it will be Cager Lucas on behind his own net trying to get it set up for the Huskers. And Cager Lucas couldn't find Lazari. It goes all the way through, and it will be an icing for Nebraska. So another offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Creighton Blue Jays.
This line going to stay out here. Creighton will make some switches, though. Let's see, these defensemen for Nebraska looking great so far. Del Sante with some nice dekes, helping their guy Quinn out back in the net. Under 2 minutes to go. Like I'll keep saying, I'm expecting a lot of stops here.
Shot there off the faceoff, goes wide, and McNeese will chase it for the Blue Jays. He'll send it back in. Huskers get a quick change. Camden Lai trying to keep it in the offensive zone. Eventually he'll take it back out, and resetting are the Creighton Blue Jays. This one kept in by Lazari. Lazari looking to get on the attack for the Huskers. He comes up with it now. Now the Huskers had an offensive zone opportunity until Locker got the interception, and Bebler's got it. Bebler working 1-on-2. Bebler deking in between his legs. Now Bebler just trying to send it towards the net. That one's stopped by Shanahan, but kept in for Creighton, and Shanahan applies a hit on the boards. McLeese with a shot off a Husker defender, Del Sante, and it goes just wide. That almost went in off the deflection. Now 1 minute to go here in the first period, and McLeese will send it up to Locker. Locker goes down, and it will be a trip on the captain, Caleb Seibel.
I was wondering if they were going to call it. Actually took them a second or two to actually blow that whistle and throw the arm up. So Seibel, for the next 49 seconds, will serve a sentence, and then that'll carry on over to the next period. Great opportunity for Creighton to take advantage of Nebraska being down a man.
Another power play opportunity here for the Blue Jays. Second time in the first period, as Sieve will have it in Locker to Lai. Lai in the center of the ice. He'll reset it to Bebler. Now Camden Lai's got it in the face-off circle. He loses it in the legs of the referee, And eventually he comes back up with it, though. Camden Lai looking for Bebler, and Bebler back to Lai. Lai trying to start the offense here for Creighton, and eventually he sends it to where he thought Bebler would be at the point, but Bebler was not there, and it will clear the zone as Steve will send it all the way across. And trying to get it out is Coe. He can't do it. Schmelzer trying to apply pressure to Bebler. Schmelzer trying to get the puck out, and he does. Now Schmelzer's going to have a one-on-one with Steve and the goalie. Schmelzer crosses back towards the middle. Now he'll try to dump it for Lazari. Can't find him, and that will be the end of the first period. So the first 40 seconds of this Seibel power play have been killed by the Huskers. It is 1-1 after one. What have you seen out there so far, Matthew?
You know, I saw Creighton come out of the gate this time a lot more aggressive than Nebraska, which is a complete 180 flip from what we saw last night. And now I don't know what to expect for the next 20 minutes as Ethan, as we saw last night, each period had a completely different feel and outcome, you know, from each one. The first was very Nebraska heavy. The second, Creighton obviously came out and tied it. And then the third, it was just Blue Jay domination, you know, mostly because of all those power plays and stuff. But we'll talk a lot more about that later. I know right now anything could happen coming up with the second period, which will start very soon.
Yeah, 1-1 after one here in the John Breslow Ice Center. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break for the intermission. You're watching D3 Club Hockey here on Nebraska News Service. and welcome back into the John Breslow Ice Center as we get set for our second period of action this evening between the Huskers and the Blue Jays. This is their fourth straight matchup against each other over the last 2 weeks. Played two up in Omaha last weekend, and this weekend they're down here in Lincoln for the second game, and it is currently 1-1 after one period, and the Blue Jays are going to be on the power play for the first minute and 12 seconds of this second period.
See, we've got two freshman goalies, a bunch of shots on goal. Creighton started off the first period really hot. Nebraska responded with a goal of their own, and now the Blue Jays have a chance to take the lead back that they took so early on in this game.
And Camden Lies got it at the top of the zone for the Jays. They have 6 skaters on the ice for some odd reason, and now there's a whistle blown. Similar to some shenanigans we had going on in the third period last night, the Blue Jays just sending extra guys on the ice for fun. This time the refs stop them.
The Blue Jays wanted to play, 6-on-4 hockey. Now they're going to go down to 5-on-3, so I guess things worked out in their favor. Blake Merchant takes a trip. He will head on over there to the penalty box, joining his captain. They'll both serve some sentences here. Creighton could definitely strike right now, though.
Yep, so now it will be 5-on-3 for about 50 seconds. A beautiful opportunity for the Blue Jays to go and break this tie as Sieve is working down low around the back of the net now, looking for somebody to pass it to. Sieve has worked all the way around the offensive zone before he finally gives it up to Bebler. Bebler now back to Sieve, and Sieve will hold the puck for a little longer. Now he'll take a snapshot from the top, and it goes just wide and cleared out by the Huskers, and that killed off most of this 5-on-3 time. About 15 seconds left in 5-on-3 action. The Creighton Blue Jays are going to need to hurry to get another quality opportunity here. Camden Lai takes it in as we got about 6 seconds left before the captain, Seibel, gets back on the ice. Now a shot from the top of the zone, and Sieve is saved by Quinn. Caden Quinn with the save, and that is the end of the 5-on-3 portion of this power play. Will be 5-on-4 now with Merchant in the box for another 69 seconds.
Yeah, Merchant going to have to hang in there for a little bit longer, but Creighton, a ton of time here, a lot of opportunities to take the lead back.
The Huskers really struggling with penalties in both the series so far against Creighton. And now Locker's got it. No, that's Pino. He'll dump it for Sieve, and he misses the outstretched stick of Sieve, and it will clear once again with under a minute to go on this power play. The Huskers looking for their third penalty kill of the game. Seibel just got out of the box. He's working against Sieve. Sieve works around the back of the net once again. Sieve all the way back to the top of the zone. He'll snap one in. It goes wide. Now it'll be repossessed for the Huskers. Clover just sitting on Charlie Wheaton, and eventually Wheaton's cage comes off, and there'll be a whistle as a bunch of bodies down there on this near side. Clover and Siebel and Wheaton and Pino are all involved in that action, and the question is, where is this face-off going to be?
Wheaton's still fixing his bucket there. It got messed up a little bit after the big hit on the near side board, so we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. Only 31 seconds left until Blake Merchant can come out of the box, and in that time, the Blue Jays are definitely going to try to rip off a shot or two.
Huskers win the faceoff. Shanahan tries to get it clear, can't quite do it. Now Sieve working it back for the Blue Jays off the blocker of Quinn in behind the net now. In the corner, working across with Sieve, looking for his man Bebler, but a good job by Steibel to get in the passing lane and then send it all the way deep as it's 10 seconds left for the Blue Jays. They got one more opportunity here. Locker works it across. Now looking for action are the Blue Jays, and eventually they'll circle back. Merchant coming out of the box now. He'll sub off, and on comes Rothenberger as the save is made by Caden Quinn, and there'll be a stoppage, so we are back to 5-on-5 hockey now.
You got to give it up to Caden Quinn here. I know he let one, obviously get past him early on in the game, but since then, it's been a great job so far. That's 2 now, though, so overall, penalty kill worked great. The goal came in right when it ended, though.
Yeah, that will technically be a 5-on-5 goal for the Creighton Blue Jays as the penalty was up, but Merchant was subbing off for Rothenberger, and Rothenberger was not able to get back into the play. So pretty much still extended power play for the Blue Jays, and then finally score after it had been a really nice penalty kill. 2 penalties simultaneously for the Huskers were killed, but eventually the Blue Jays able to get the goal. Now it'll be repossessed by Rothenberger. 2-on-2 opportunity with Quevedo. Rothenberger working on the far side now. He'll slide in. He had a good opportunity, but a nice save there from Bertram, and he'll have to set it back up for Merchant. Merchant down to Rothenberger. Rothenberger can't quite keep possession down there. Now he comes back up with it. It ends up on the stick of Jake Quevedo of the Huskers. Quevedo now working back across to Merchant. Merchant tries to find Quevedo again. He can't, and eventually coming up with it is going to be Henry Nutting for the Blue Jays. Down goes Adamski over in the corner, and there is going to be a whistle. It'll eventually be the tripping call. Looked like they might have let that one go, but eventually they blow the whistle, and it'll be the first opportunity for the Huskers on the power play tonight.
Saw the linesman on the near side started skating in before the whistle was blown, but yeah, we've got a Blue Jay heading to the box. This one looks to be Johnny McLeese. He was in there for quite some time last night during the third period, during that whole penalty debacle. We won't revisit that for certain reasons, but yeah, Adamski banged up on the play. Nebraska now, though, with the advantage as far as personnel goes. They just did a great job killing off those 2 penalties, but unfortunately one got past Quinn. Now they have the chance to tie the game up again, excuse me.
And now on the power play, the Huskers are going to add Schmelzer to their blue line for their power play unit here, as it will be Schmelzer in the blue line and then Coe as the one defenseman right now. It's Rothenberger with the puck, though, for the Huskers. He'll look for Adamski. Adamski behind the net, getting pressured. Eventually he'll drop it off to Schmelzer on the near side. Schmelzer back down to Adamski below the goal line. Now Adamski will work back out towards the top of the zone. It's Coe. Coe looking for Schmelzer on the saucer pass. He finds him. Schmelzer back to the top of the zone. Coe once again. He'll take the snapshot low. Saved by Bertram. Rothenberger had a chance coming in, but it got poked away by Sieve, and now Sieve will work the other way. He had a 2-on-1 opportunity. He's looking across the middle, and the save is made by Quinn. He'll push it back out to Quevedo, who finds Adamski, who's got Schmelzer working 1-on-2. Schmelzer looking for the crosser. He doesn't find it. Great defensive play there by Sieve, getting back and forcing the puck off the stick of Schmelzer, and now Rothenberger will reset as we are halfway through this penalty kill for the Blue Jays. Schmelzer now with Del Sante at the top of the zone. He'll come up with it. Del Sante back to Rothenberger. Rothenberger across to Schmelzer. He can't quite find the puck, and the Blue Jays come away with it. And now they have a 1-on-1 opportunity, working all the way through. That one sails over the net and over the glove, and Schmelzer comes up with it for the Huskers here on the near side. Adamski now working the drop back pass. Schmelzer in the center of the ice with a huge shot. Couldn't get it through, though, and Adamski repossesses for the Huskers. He has Schmelzer in the middle. That one just floating through the low slot, and a good tracking job there by Joey Bertram to eventually cover it up with 21 seconds to go here on the power play for the Huskers.
So that 3-on-2 shot opportunity fumbled away a little bit by Nebraska. They were able to get a shot off, just most likely wasn't the one they wanted the most. Overall, though, 21 seconds, a lot could happen here with the rest of Johnny McLee's penalty.
Now Caleb Siebel in the box for the Huskers, or in the faceoff circle, excuse me. He's diving in, and eventually the Huskers come away with it. It's Butts passing it back behind the net. About 15 seconds to make something happen here for the Huskers. Butts trying to tell Lazari where to put the puck. Now Lazari's got it back here on the near side. Lazari with the looking for Del Sante, crashing in. Del Sante eventually comes up with the puck and shoots it. But a good save once again from Bertram, who's been really lights out except for that one error that he had. He has been really good so far tonight for the Blue Jays.
That was a really smart pass by the freshman Lazari. Unfortunately, it was just a better save by Bertram. A really well-executed play by Nebraska. This could not be their last shot, though. They've got 3 seconds left to make something of it.
Lazari kicks it back to the point. And eventually, coming up with it is Coe. He shoots it, goes off his own man, Seibel. That would have had a chance to score, but Seibel blocks the shot. And now a fight for the puck, and eventually Lazari had a good look in front of the net, but a great deflection from the Creighton defenseman. And the pressure is still on, though, for the Huskers. One of the longest pressure opportunities they've had all night long, and eventually it goes towards the glove of Bertram, and he's able to cover it up, and it will be another offensive zone faceoff for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Lazari ended up running into Bertram there. The Creighton defenseman didn't like that. I think he skated on over to Bertram to tell him, hey, just kind of got mixed up in the play there. Didn't mean to do that. So both teams back at full strength, though. One team, however, has the lead. Creighton picked that up earlier on this period.
Kim wins the face-off, but then it was Sobanski that couldn't keep possession for the Huskers, and eventually Creighton comes up with it behind their own net. Bebler trying to get it, and it bounces all the way through to Camden Lyon. He'll have a 2-on-1 with Locker. He looks for Locker. Locker with the deke, and he will score. That one bounces onto the puck of Locker, and Locker with a great backhand, sending Caden Quinn flying as he deked back towards his right, and then finds the open net, and it is 3-1 Blue Jays.
Look, this one looking very similar to what we saw in the second period yesterday, where now Creighton just going on a scoring frenzy a little bit. That's 2 goals this period. Now, yesterday they scored 3 within 3 minutes, so today it's a lot more stretched out, but still, nonetheless, their offense looking very well improved from that first period last night.
Yeah, in the last 3 second periods between these two squads, Creighton has outscored the Huskers 10-0 now.
And it's hard to believe just because of how well Nebraska has played in the first periods, though.
As Bo Shanahan had a good look there for the Huskers. He sent it in on net, but Bertram with another glove save, and the score will hold 3-1. The Huskers have really struggled in the second period against Creighton. I don't exactly know why, but they're going to have to figure it out soon if they want to get back into this game as they trail 3-1 currently.
Yeah, and we saw Caden Quinn. I know we mentioned it. He played last weekend. He let 7 shots go by him. He's now at 3 today. We'll have to move forward, though, and see what Creighton's able to do here.
Now the opportunity for Clements. He's working all the way in for the Blue Jays, and he repossesses the puck now after it bounced through a couple of sticks. This one sent across the attacking zone. Adamski trying to get it out for the Huskers. He can as Clements was applying the pressure. It is now Schumacher with the puck for the Blue Jays. Schumacher crosses it back, and Adamski intercepts the pass, though, and the Huskers will start something the other way. The blue line out there, Quevedo looking for anyone in front, and he had Rothenberger, but just couldn't quite find the stick of Rothenberger. Goes all the way through, and Cager Lucas, the team leader in penalty minutes, will go back to get it. That one sends all the way through past the outstretched stick of Boyd. And now a opportunity the other way for the Blue Jays. Skating in was Charlie Wheaton, and he sent that straight onto the chest of Caden Quinn, and he was able to make the save. Quinn has seen a lot of action in the first 27-ish minutes of game time.
Yeah, Lucas tapped him on the shoulder a little bit, saying thank you, but Quinn's work isn't cut out for him here. It's not done. Creighton still could get a shot off here.
Now working all the way through to the other side, and eventually picked up by Bertram. He'll send it all the way through, and Del Sante's got it for the Huskers in the defensive zone. Cager Lucas off the glass trying to get it deep. Eventually it goes back to Lucas. Lucas working it through now. Schmelzer's got it right in front of us. He'll look for Del Sante. Del Sante tries to get it deep. Eventually was stopped by the Blue Jays, and they'll have an opportunity the other way. Pino working with Corey as well. Deep into the Husker zone. Pino looking short side on Quinn. He can't find it. He was denied by Caden Quinn. And now an opportunity the other way for Kobe Butts and the Huskers. That one centered by Beester and eventually covered up by Bertram.
Bertram doing a nice job covering up these pucks. Quinn on the other side has been doing not so great in the second period. And Ethan, I just keep thinking about that first period yesterday from Nebraska where they came out guns blazing, went up 3-0. I know it's almost like I can't stop talking about it, but it feels a little bit like an anomaly because every other period that Nebraska has played against Creighton this season has gone pretty much the exact opposite way of that, really short one yesterday.
And now Creighton has the puck back in the neutral zone. It's going to be Bebler working for it, but he is depossessed by the captain, Caleb Seibel, and he'll send it deep. Bertram works it the other way, where he will find his fellow Blue Jay, Lucas Mazarigo. But eventually the Blue Jays come up with it, and Bebler's got a 2-on-1 with Camden Lai. Tries to find Camden Lai on the saucer pass. Great defensive play there from Coe of the Huskers, but Bebler gets it back. Now he's working in, and he will go low on Caden Quinn, and it went between his legs and in, and that will be a goal for the Blue Jays. Their third of the first 9 minutes of action here in the second period, and they've opened up a 4-1 lead.
A five-holer, for Calderon. He had 2 goals last night, and then today he's been playing, just as well. So 4-1 for Creighton, and they're slowly pulling away. They did just this yesterday in the 3rd period, and now they're just doing it even earlier on in the game. If anything, though, that means Nebraska still has a chance to bring this game back to a tied one. Excuse me.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of goals in every single one of these matches so far between Creighton and Nebraska, at least 10, and we're only at 5 right now. So if it holds, we'll have plenty of scoring to go here as we're just about halfway through the game clock as well. Now Shanahan working against the boards, getting raked by a Creighton Blue Jay defender, and eventually the Huskers come away with it. Chasing after it was Beamer. He couldn't come up with it. And Creighton trying to take possession in the neutral zone. Eventually they do. That is going to be Swiler working across. He doesn't come up with it. It was a dump-in opportunity from Clements. Great job by the Huskers to get bodies in front of that, and Sabansky now working, the freshman for the Huskers, trying to find his way in, but it will be an offsides as it was Jawan Kim over there. Got a little too excited to get into the offensive zone before Sabansky could get the puck across, and it will be an offsides on the Huskers.
Yeah, Kim visibly upset about that one. Nebraska will change lines. We'll have a face-off in the neutral zone, though, so Nebraska still has a chance to do something here. And, hey, even 1 goal, that would bring that back to a 2-goal lead for Creighton. And in hockey, anything can happen when it's a 2-goal game. They say the most dangerous lead is 2-0, but even if this is 4-2 in the 2nd period, a lot could happen after that.
Merchant tries to keep it in the Husker attacking zone, but eventually the Blue Jays able to clear it. And it will be Swiler working down low. And eventually Cavedo comes up with it for the Huskers. And Beaster clears it all the way around. Now will be Del Sante trying to work an offensive opportunity for the Huskers here. Del Sante centers, no one's home. Rothenberger does come up with it off the boards, though. Del Sante goes down, and that will be a penalty on the Blue Jays, number 15. In a huge play there, Henry Nutting picks up the penalty. And just like that, another power play opportunity here for the Huskers, and it feels like they need to capitalize down 4-1.
Yeah, they absolutely have to do something here within the next 2 minutes. Even if they don't score, they just need to apply pressure and keep the puck on this side of the ice.
The first power play was unsuccessful for the Huskers in this 2nd period. Now they have another opportunity. That one sent through a couple of Husker legs, and Bebler will chase after it for the Blue Jays, but eventually it will be picked up by Coe of the Huskers. And they'll have to set up their power play from behind their own net. Adamski's got it now on the Union Bank Trust logo here inside of John Breslow Ice Arena. And it will be Cavedo working inside the circle now. He's looking for Schmelzer. Now he'll reset back to the top. Coe snapshot from the top of the zone. He can't find it. And eventually it will be repossessed by Schmelzer. Schmelzer working into the slot. He shoots a snapshot low, and it's saved by Bertram. Schmelzer looking to get it into the attacking zone, and he just can't quite do it. Bebler comes away with it for the Blue Jays. He lost possession of that puck just enough. He was able to make a clean pass. He had Locker potentially streaking for a shorthanded goal. Eventually, though, the Huskers will have now an opportunity the other way. It will be Adamski with it right on the red line here. He'll pass it up to Cavedo. Cavedo works it all the way across the zone to Rothenberger. Rothenberger looking for Adamski. Goes off the board, and eventually Adamski collects. Now Cavedo's got it from the top. He'll take a snapshot. Bertram saves it with his pads, and then brings it back in with the stick and covers. With 50 seconds to go in this power play, Huskers unsuccessful so far.
With that being said, Nebraska doing a really nice job at least penetrating this Creighton defense. I know Bertram really hasn't had anything to go up against in the past minute and 10 seconds other than a shot here and there. So if they're able to get in a nice place, I'd say, then they can definitely let one slip past on his glove side. But right now they're just going a little too low, not getting the puck airborne when they need to.
Del Sante to Butts. The second power play line now in there for the Huskers, trying to make something happen. That one ends up near the skates of the ref, and eventually the Huskers are able to come away with it. It's Lazari. Josh Lazari, the freshman on the far side, looking for someone to get the puck off to. Eventually he does. They're in the low slot trying to find Seibel in front of the net. Caleb Seibel can't come away with it, though. Kobe Butts keeps it in the attacking zone for the Huskers with 23 left to go in the power play. That one centered. Eventually, Locker gets it out, and now Bebler's got plenty of ice in front of him, only Del Sante in between him and the goalie. He'll try to drop it back to Locker, and just a little bit of miscommunication. And now with 10 seconds left on the power play, Seibel bringing it in for the Huskers. One last opportunity here on this power play, and that pass is errant. And Bebler now on the breakaway. It's just him and Quinn. Bebler with the fakes the shot. He'll go low, and Quinn slams the door shut on the 5-hole, covers it with his glove, and that will be the end of the power play. Blue Jays still lead 4-1.
What a save right there. The power play had just ended. Creighton, though, another great penalty kill. We've seen them do that a number of times so far tonight. And now Nebraska, they've kind of been cornered back, against the wall where their backs have been facing for quite possibly, a majority of this game.
Yeah, Creighton really dominating a lot of this game, and that's shown on the scoreboard now as they lead 4-1. They've got the puck behind the net. Quinn just having to cover both posts. He had no clue where it was, but eventually it comes back out in front of him. And it will be sent over there by Charles Clements. And now the Huskers trying to get something going in the center here. They've got a little bit of space in front of Jawan Kim. He drops it back for Sabanski. Sabanski tries to shoot it in. It's broken up. Great defense there from the Blue Jays, and they eventually come up with it. Alex Schumacher has it. He'll send it all the way through, and Boyd will take it for the Huskers. Back to Sabanski. Now Sabanski potentially with the look, but he couldn't get it past Henry Nutting on defense for the Blue Jays. Now Johnny McLeese has it for the Jays. He'll evade Sabanski, but eventually he'll lose it. And now a one-on-one opportunity. Cavedo working in against Nutting. Cavedo shoots, and he'll find the far side post. Low shot from Cavedo, and that's the second goal for the Huskers tonight. They trail 4-2, but they've cut back into this Blue Jay lead.
What a shot by Cavedo, the assistant captain, junior forward from Lincoln, Nebraska, his 4th goal of the year, making some noise right now, nearing the end of the second period. And Ethan, I mentioned earlier, if this game got to 4-2 before the end of the period, then anything could happen after that.
Yeah, that was a high-level skill shot there from Jake Cavedo, showing why he was put on the blue line for tonight's matchup and showing the coach that he deserves to get more opportunities on the blue line as he scores. Now, Blue Jays looking for an answer. It's Christian Pino. He gets slammed into the boards by the enforcer for the Huskers, Cager Lucas. The blue line out there completely, all the starters for the Huskers. Creighton working, though. It's Pino behind the net, and eventually he's depossessed by the goal scorer, Cavedo. Rothenberger looking for Cavedo, but too far off the stick of Cavedo. And eventually Cavedo comes up with it now. He'll drop it back. Cager Lucas has it now, and Cavedo repossesses. Cavedo trying to set up the offense as he works through the neutral zone. He'll dump it deep. Rothenberger looking towards the bench, and eventually he'll just sit in here on the forecheck. He deflects that pass, but the Blue Jays able to come away with it. It's Dominic Corey to Pino. Pino trying to center it back to Corey. It bounces through behind the net. Centering pass, no one home for the Blue Jays, though. Now the Huskers trying to work an offensive look. That one sent deep for the Huskers, Cager Lucas, and they come up with the puck. Schmelzer's got it now behind the net. He's trying to keep possession, but that was great pressure from Lucas Mazarigo, and a good job for the Blue Jays to retain the possession. It's now Sieve back there. He'll dump it all the way through. He's got a man on the blue line. It's Bebler. Bebler will get the puck now. No one else in a blue jersey to help him for now, but eventually he just keeps it, and it looked like the Huskers just let him take that one out and reset the offense here, as it's McLeese from the top. He'll shoot. He can't get it. Sieve has it now. He'll send it all the way through. Now behind the net, setting up the offense is Bebler. Physicality coming here for the Huskers, looking for a penalty. They don't get it. Good job sticking his foot in front there, though, from the Husker defender. And eventually Merchant gets it out to Schmelzer. Schmelzer to Lazari. Lazari trying to get it through. And Bertram tries to clear it all the way around, and he does get it out of the zone. Merchant repossesses for the Huskers. Merchant to Del Sante. Del Sante will shoot it cross the ice and in, as Schmelzer will come up with it now. Schmelzer with the Huskers trying to work it off the boards. Merchant keeps it in for now, and it will stay in. That shot way high, though, from Beaster and goes behind the net. Schmelzer comes up with it, centering pass, no one home, but Del Sante keeps it in the zone. A long attacking possession here for the Huskers. Del Sante centering pass, good opportunity there for the Lazari, but a great save from Bertram. And now working it back across is going to be Butts, and eventually the Blue Jays come up with it, but Schmelzer keeps it in the attacking zone. Blue Jays just desperately trying to get this puck out. Tired legs back there for the Blue Jays, and now it's in the far side boards, a battle for it, and eventually the clearing attempt will get it out, and Schmelzer will come with it for the Huskers, and Camden Lye trying to pressure him. Blue Jays on the far side only able to get one guy off the ice here, though, and eventually it goes back in for the Jays, and they'll reset now. And taking it across the blue line is Locker. Locker deking out Del Sante. He'll send it in on net, and a good opportunity there for Tam Swiler, but he's not able to make the opportunity count, and it will end up back in the neutral zone and then cleared into the Husker defensive zone, where it will be received by Blake Merchant. Merchant working through the neutral zone. He'll just dump it through, and McLeese comes up with it for the Blue Jays. McLeese wearing his green gloves and other accessories, the Edina Hornets green from Johnny McLeese. That one shot. Del Sante tried to get in front of it. Eventually it was saved by Quinn, though. This one passed all the way through for Nutting. Nutting will send it in deep. Now reset. Good opportunity for Swiler. He can't come up with a clean shot, though, and the Blue Jays will retain possession, though. This one through to Nutting, but he can't possess it. It bounces out of the Husker defensive zone. Creighton trying to reset now as Nutting's got it back on the Pepsi logo here in the neutral zone. Nutting will send it over to Schumacher. He'll send it deep, and Quinn will pick it up for the Huskers, but no defender was there to get the puck, and eventually the Blue Jays come up with it back in the attacking zone. That one shot right in front of the net. Good job by Quinn to keep it out. Now it's right on the edge of the zone, and eventually it gets out. And now just sending it in and chasing is going to be Christian Clover. Christian Clover comes up with it. He'll center it now. A great opportunity for Cavedo, but he can't keep possession. And working through a lot of contact is Schumacher. And eventually the Blue Jays and Charlie Wheaton come away with it, though. Wheaton working in. He can't get it. And this one sent all the way through. And it will be Sieve coming up with it for the Edina Hornets. And now Pino's got it for Creighton. Pino looking for someone at the blue line. He gets hit by Boyd and eventually sends it in to the attacking zone. Creighton trying to set something up. Pino's got it now right in front of the net, and a great save there from Caden Quinn.
A nice save by Quinn there. He wraps it up. We're under that 1 minute mark. And something tells me, there's a lot that could happen in this final minute. Nebraska could get pretty aggressive, or they might just want to go back to the locker room and talk things over, as this was a pretty draining period. As Ethan, I know you talked about it a lot, but Creighton just dominates in these second periods. They did last weekend, and they continue to do so this weekend.
Now Adamski in the Husker blue line on the ice. He's got it in the near side boards. And eventually it is come up with by Coe. Coe working it into the zone. He'll shoot. Save from Bertram. Coe will shoot again. This time Bertram will cover up with the glove save, and it will be a offensive zone faceoff for the Huskers, down 4-2.
Another stop there, 37 seconds to go. And Ethan, I don't want to give it my announcer's jinx, but we have not seen an ejection so far today, which we saw 2 last night, and then we saw 1 last Saturday. So, I don't want to put any jinx on it, but I am expecting to see things ramp up a little bit in the third period and get a lot more aggressive than they are right now.
Yeah, so far this has been about the most tame game between all 4 of them that these two teams have played so far this season in terms of penalties. Now Sieve has it in the defensive zone for the Blue Jays, and Camden Lye now coming up with it in Locker. We're under 20 seconds here in the second period. The Blue Jays looking for one more goal before the break. Eventually it comes back to Bebler. He'll shoot off the glove of Quinn, and then Lye shoots it in. It's right in between the legs of Quinn. There's no whistle. Quinn's just going to have to lay down and try to keep that puck out. He had no clue where it was. It was underneath him, but it does stay out of the net with 6.8 to go. a real good opportunity for Lai to score as he shot it right in between the pads of Caden Quinn.
He just sat right down on top of it and then, laid out. I mean, great save overall, you got to say. He didn't let it go by him, but still 6 seconds left. Something might happen.
Now it comes back, a snapshot right as the period expires, and Schmelzer comes up with the block. He'll run out for it, but he can't quite get it. And it will be a 4-2 score after 2 periods here at the John Breslow Ice Center. Huskers came into this period tied at 1. They trail 4-2 now. Blue Jays score 3 times. What have you seen out there in the second period, Matthew?
I mean, it's been the same as every other second period that Creighton has played against Nebraska for the past 3 matchups they had. Just domination offensively, and then defensively, not their strongest game, but still they're able to keep Nebraska out of the net as much as possible. I know, Nebraska was able to get one past Bertram there, but other than that, Creighton just looked really, really strong there offensively. We saw a couple penalties early on. Didn't see a whole lot in the back half of the period, but I am expecting the third period to be a lot more penalty-driven and more so strategy behind that. If it's 5-on-4 hockey, 5-on-3, if one guy gets ejected, who are you throwing in the box to take his place, which I know might sound like a unique situation, but when these two teams are on the ice, that's definitely something you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, we have a 4-2 score here after 2 periods in Lincoln. The Huskers trail 4-2. You're watching D3 Club Hockey here on Nebraska News Service. And welcome back to the John Breslow Ice Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska, as we get set for our third period of action tonight between the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Creighton Blue Jays. Blue Jays currently lead 4-2 after 2 periods. Matthew, what do you think the keys are going to be out there for the Huskers to potentially come back and win this one?
You know, I can't say that the Huskers have had too many third-period comebacks this season, right? Those only 2 wins they've had came very early on in the season, and, you know, they won 9-1 and 9-8, so one game, a really big win, the other back and forth. So they've been in this position before, though, where they've come out decently strong in the first period, but then the second period they end up slowing down a little bit. They give the other team a little more steam than they wanted to, and then when it, you know, all kind of comes together in the third, it really, you know, Creighton is usually the type of team. We saw it happen last night where they're going to run away with it. And I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying there's a high probability that they will because of what we saw last night and as well as what we've seen Nebraska do against some other teams defensively in the past. Overall, though, as far as keys to the game go, you're so far out of reach. It's only a 2-goal game, Ethan. I mean, we've seen Nebraska play teams like Dordt, where at this point in the game, this one was very much out of reach. They would have had to score almost, you know, a goal a minute to get it back, you know, to even keel. So I would say we've got a close hockey game on our hands. Just because you're down 2 goals and you gave up a lead twice doesn't mean that the game is over. So Creighton looking to just keep things rolling, keep that second period momentum, carry it over on here to the final 20 minutes of the game. Nebraska really trying to change the tide, though.
Yeah, the Huskers, who have lost, you know, 3 games in a row to Creighton, 11 games in a row overall, really looking to just get that one win against the rival Creighton Blue Jays and see if they can't just at least get one win and get back in the winning ways. They haven't experienced a win in over 2 months since that opening series against Dallas Baptist. And it will be Del Sante sending it deep for the Huskers. So we are just underway here in the third period. Huskers trail by 2 to the Blue Jays. They're in the offensive zone. This one worked through by Cavedo, and then he retraces his steps, falls to the ground, and just fighting to try to get that puck out of the far side corner. And eventually, it comes through to Rothenberger. Now Rothenberger fighting up against the boards, trying to get it out. Puck's been along the boards for about a minute straight, and eventually it comes through to Blake Merchant, and he can't keep it in the zone. Merchant starting this third period on the blue line instead of Kajer Lucas. So that's interesting, as Lucas had been with Del Sante all night long so far. And then that one depossessed by Lazari. Rothenberger now going the other way. He goes wide of the blocker from Bertram. And it will be kept by the Huskers in the attacking zone, and they do keep it in there. And it's shot in onto the glove of Bertram. He saves it, and it will be an offensive zone faceoff for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah, I think they definitely talked over something during that second intermission as Del Sante no longer paired up with Kajer. Del Sante actually looked over to the bench in that kind of stoppage of play, but yeah, they're switching things up defensively. And Ethan, I just want to point out, you know, this entire Nebraska bench, they're up on their feet standing, Creighton sitting down. So that's the type of momentum I think, that's the kind of headspace both teams are in right now.
Now flying in is Schumacher. He goes off the right blocker of Quinn and saved away. Quinn with another save there. And it will go all the way out to the point where Henry Nutting has struggled keeping it, and running all the way through and giving it a chance was going to be Christian Clover, but he couldn't find the back of the net. Husker still in the attacking zone. Clover with 2 opportunities. He can't get it through the pads of Joey Bertram. That shot, really good opportunity on the one-timer from Joey Beester, and another amazing save from Joey Bertram.
Beester, man, I mean, that was a nice shot too, but Bertram, he's just all over the place in his crease now. He's definitely settled in, and you think back, though, he let one slip past him in the first, and then, you know, Seibel was able to get the best of him last period. Sorry, you know, recollecting what happened last period as so much went on, but now we're looking to have an even more eventful third period.
Yeah, that one goal he gave up in the second, though, was a really, really nice shot from the Huskers, so he's looked really good so far tonight. That one sent in another save. Schmelzer, who scored the first goal for the Huskers, sent that one in. And now it will be Grayson Boyd with the puck. He'll send it deep. Kajer Lucas not on the ice right now, but he was out there in his defensive pairing with Coe instead of Del Sante. So just maybe a little switching around there in the intermission break from the Huskers, as their defense did give up 3 goals last period.
I was pretty, I wouldn't say confused, but I think shock is a good word when I saw the lineup switches today from last night, because they worked so well in that first period, and then on after that it didn't really work out so much. So I like that head coach Nate Fuller switched things up. Now we just got to see if they work here in the final 17 and a half minutes of the game.
This one in the Butts. Butts with a good opportunity going towards the net, and another amazing save from Joey Bergstrom. And now it will be Steve leading the charge the other way for the Blue Jays. Steve all the way through, looking for the wraparound. He had it there, but he didn't go for it. Quinn just had to stretch his stick out because he was way out of the net. Eventually, Steve gets it back, though, for the Blue Jays. Steve working through the middle. Husker loses his stick. It's twirling around, and going to get it is going to be Joey Beester. And Kobe Butts chasing after this puck now in the defensive zone, trying to clear it, and he will, but Steve will pick it up for the Blue Jays and send it right back in. Hard shot right off of Bo Shanahan. That one's going to leave a bruise tomorrow for Shanahan. Joey Beester now trying to clear it. It goes off of the skates of Steve. It eventually ends up on the stick of Camden Lai. Camden Lai working in for the Blue Jays. Lai now all the way through the middle of the zone and eventually tipped away, and trying to flip it up was number 93, Patrick Beamer, but he sent it into his own team's bench, and it will be a face-off there in the far side neutral zone. No, it will be an offensive zone face-off for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, we'll come down on this side nearing Quinn. Quinn's got to dig in deep here. Only 16 and a half more to go, but that's a lot of time for Creighton to get another goal.
In this one, Camden Lai has it. He'll shoot from the top, and it goes wide, bounces off the backboard, and eventually covered up by Caden Quinn. And we'll have another face-off in the same exact spot about 5 seconds later. Into the face-off circle is Locker of the Blue Jays. He loses it, though. Sabansky couldn't quite keep possession and will stay in the attacking zone for the Blue Jays. Camden Lai to Locker. Locker across for Bebler. Bebler looking for Camden Lai. He can't find him. Now it is won by the Huskers, and possession for Sabansky. He's trying to dump it in deep. He'll chase it all the way through towards the half wall. And now Sabansky will send it towards the middle, and there's no Huskers there to send it. Sabansky gets the puck back, though. Now he's got a chance in the slot. He'll shoot up top, but goes too far up top, and it will be off the back wall and repossessed by the Huskers. And eventually it slides into the neutral zone. Chasing after it is Locker and Merchant. Camden Lai now collects it for the Blue Jays, and he'll send it over to Locker in the neutral zone. He'll look back for Lai. Camden Lai back to his defenseman, which is going to be Johnny McLeese, but he had a little trouble getting the possession. Now he does. Gets it to Lai. Lai to Locker. Locker's got Bebler. He's looking for him off his skate. Bebler trying to find the puck, and eventually he does. Now he's trying to work through 4 Husker defenders, and he goes down in a heap. No call there, and the Blue Jays keep on working on this offensive possession. They have Bebler in a one-timer. Great save from Caden Quinn, and the Huskers will get it out of the zone. That one past the outstretched stick of Shane Rothenberger and picked up by Tommy Sieve of the Blue Jays. Sieve will send it in. Coe keeps it in the attacking zone for the Huskers. Now Adamski trying to find the puck, and he does. Adamski on the far side, crossing back off the half wall. And eventually it will be Locker coming up with it for the Blue Jays. Now Locker loses it, and it will be won by Quevedo until he gets depossessed by Locker. Now Locker working all the way through into the attacking zone. He'll work back to Steve. Steve backhand trying to go up top and couldn't quite find the net. And now it will be repossessed from Alex Schumacher. Schumacher works it in towards the net. He can't find it. And it will be Rothenberger, working the other way for the Huskers. He's dragging, he swings, and just a great save once again from Joey Bergstrom.
Yeah, I think Rothenberger, out of the corner of his eye, was looking to see if he had enough time to get the puck cross ice and get a shot on Bergstrom's glove side. Instead, he'll have to go stick side, and that one's wrapped up pretty quickly. Great save nonetheless.
Now the Huskers trailing by 2 still. More than 5 minutes ticking off the clock here in this third period. And there's a whistle after that face-off, and we will redo that. Now the ref's having a little bit of a conversation, and Seibel will be sent away, and it will have to be the freshman Lazari stepping into the faceoff circle, and he'll win it for the Huskers. Grayson Boyd comes up with it. He'll dump it deep towards the half wall, and it will be Lazari with the puck. Lazari centers it, and there's a whistle as a Creighton player is laying on the ice. This one flipped up and caught. Nice little work there from Charles Clements. And we got a whistle. I'm not sure what it was for.
That's Schumacher that went down kind of awkwardly. Is there a penalty? I don't think so. Schumacher was kind of alone at that area of the ice where he went down, so he'll head to the bench and rest up a little. But, yeah, no penalty on that play.
No, we'll just get another offensive zone face-off for the Huskers. Now trying to get it loose is going to be Mazzariago, but he couldn't get it out. And Pino comes up with it. That one's sent deep inside, and Cannon Quinn will collect for the Huskers. Now Bo Shanahan looking for Clover. Clover trying to keep it. He can't quite keep it together. And eventually it will come back to Clover. A big hit against the boards. Huskers looking for a call. They don't get it. Now Bebler working in there. Can't get it all the way through. And it's Pino trying to find the puck in the offensive zone for the Blue Jays. Going down in a heap is going to be Grayson Boyd of the Huskers. That one flips up. Looked like it might have hit the net. We'll keep playing, though, and Clover will try to lay a hit, and eventually is won by the Blue Jays. It goes all the way through, and Grayson Boyd's got it for the Huskers. He's got to try to clear this. Gets it to Lazari. Lazari goes high and gets it through. Now Siebel working. He's only by himself. Just going to have to try to shoot it. It goes wide. And looking for an opportunity the other way is Sieve. Sieve comes up with it, and Sieve's got to look at the net. Tommy Sieve going near side on Cannon Quinn. A nice save. Hit him right in the middle of the lettering of Huskers on the front of that 95 jersey of Caden Quinn. And the score will hold 4-2, 7 minutes into this third period.
That's another shot where, I mean, every Husker fan in here had to hold their breath on it. But Quinn has been able to put a stop to a lot of those recently. It was more so early on in the second period when a lot of those slipped past him.
Now Del Sante working up into the neutral zone for the Huskers. Del Sante loses the possession as he tried to get it through. It will be picked up by Schmelzer. He'll dump it down to Butts. Butts can't quite connect on the pass, but it does eventually get through to Joey Beester. Beester will send it towards the net of Bertram. Bertram will just pass that one away. The ref trying to get out of the way. This one centered for Beester. Another great chance in the center of the ice for Joey Beester in his third period, but couldn't get it to go all the way through on net. And now trying to get it out, but Locker keeps it in for the Blue Jays. It will be Del Sante going to collect the puck now for the Huskers, and he'll work back towards the neutral zone. Now Del Sante into the neutral zone, looking for Schmelzer. Beester has it. Gets through to Bebler. Bebler now drops it off to Locker. Locker with the wrist shot, saved by Quinn, and he'll bring it back in under his glove with the stick, and it will be another offensive zone faceoff for the Creighton Blue Jays. They lead 4-2, 8 minutes into this third period.
Yeah, so far this first half of the third period haven't had a lot go on offensively, but defensively Bertram and Quinn are looking great. If they can keep this up, and Creighton will most likely be able to have a multi-goal lead late in the period. Right now, though, Quinn doing a great job digging in his own crease, keeping the Blue Jays out of there.
Yeah, it feels like the Huskers really need to find a way to get one past Bertram pretty soon, make it a one-goal game, and get the pressure back on these Creighton Blue Jays. McLeese will send it all the way to the other corner, and eventually it will be picked up by Cager Lucas. He tries to find a Husker, and he does. That one centered. Sabansky just couldn't quite connect on the pass, and McLeese will pick it up for the Blue Jays. Now reset by Creighton. They're in the attacking zone and sending it deep as Schumacher, and that one will be gloved, and another stoppage as Caden Quinn picked up that puck.
So same thing again, just, a couple seconds later. Quinn with a nice pickup. I think he's sharing a few words with his defenders there, saying, I got you, but, now it's their turn. They got to flip the ice and get a couple shots in against Bertram. Hopefully, they get one past them. That'd be a 4-3 puck game. However, Creighton, they have a chance to get a 3-goal lead of their own.
Cager Lucas now trying to work it in the defensive zone, and he gets it up to Quevedo. Quevedo now working with speed. He'll shoot that one off the blocker of Bertram, and Quevedo will collect again. Quevedo sends it all the way around behind the net, and Cager Lucas trying to possess it. He just couldn't quite handle that pass, and now he's just trying to get it back into the attacking zone. Eventually, Quevedo will come up and send it in. Creighton's got it, but intercepted by Rothenberger. Rothenberger wrist shot high. Goes all the way out towards the blue line where Quevedo keeps it into the attacking zone. Now this one trying to get dumped back for Quevedo. Couldn't quite keep it in the offensive zone right now are the Huskers, and eventually it will clear out. Kajer Lucas has it. He'll get right back on the attack. Kajer Lucas working in. Snapshot off the low blocker of Bertram. Now a slap shot from way up top, gloved by Joey Bertram, and he gives knuckles to Kajer Lucas with that save, and it will stay 4-2 Blue Jays.
A great save. I mean, let's give it up for these freshman goaltenders. You know, not a whole lot of experience between the two of them. They've had a handful of starts. Quinn, obviously, a little more shaky save percentage-wise, but Bertram altogether, he's had himself a great game today.
Joey Bertram, 93% save percentage coming into this game. He's looked pretty good all night long, and he's someone as a freshman that could definitely look to go up to that D2 team maybe next year. This one repossessed for the Blue Jays, and Pino now comes up with it. He couldn't quite keep it through the offensive zone. Huskers will get it out. Looking for Lazari on the far side boards. He loses it and heads into the zone, so they'll just have to dump it deep. And it will be picked up by Manzariago. And now in the neutral zone, picked up by the Huskers. Boyd sends it through to Schmelzer. Schmelzer now into the attacking end. Schmelzer will drop it back for Boyd. Boyd picks it up. Boyd just couldn't quite get it through the traffic of Blue Jays, and it will be reset all the way to Shanahan. Shanahan looking for Schmelzer. It goes through off his stick, and chasing is Kobe Butts. Sive sends it all the way around the zone now. Del Sante flying in on fresh legs. He'll send a centering pass, but no one's home in Husker white. That one gets through Merchant at the point, and Huskers will have to reset out of the zone. Schmelzer now trying to work something. Scored a goal in the first. Schmelzer gets taken down by Camden Lai. Lai loses his stick, and eventually it will get sent all the way back for Merchant here, who's getting pressured by Locker, and Locker comes up with the play. Locker working in against Quinn, and Locker tumbles into Quinn after the shot is saved away. Now Merchant will send it back across, and eventually it will be the Blue Jays coming away with it. Working it deep and on the shot, but a save by Quinn. This one sent towards the blue line. Beaster trying to get it out, and eventually he does. Now Schmelzer, a really nice play there to keep the puck going the other way and trying to come up with it, but eventually it will be Sieve coming away with it for the for the Creighton Blue Jays. And Sieve will shoot away, and that one goes over the glove of Quinn. Now this one re-won by Bebler. Another save from Quinn. Coe comes up with it now for the Huskers. Sent back into the middle. Jawan Kim coming across the blue line. Kim will shoot. Looking for Sabansky now. He comes up with it. McLeese has it over in the corner for the Blue Jays. Sabansky shoots. Sabansky trying to get it through. Eventually it goes all the way to the far side corner, and Jawan Kim possesses now for the Huskers. Jawan Kim can't quite keep it though, and now Bebler's got it, and he's got ice in front of him. Kajer Lucas gets in front of him though. He'll drop it back to Camden Lai. Camden Lai trying to get the shot off. Can't quite get it. And eventually it will be re-won by Bebler. He'll send it all the way through the zone. Beamer trying to get to it, and he does. Now he'll send it to Sabansky. Sabansky working against the defender of McLeese, and they're getting chippy in the middle of the ice. Eventually McLeese loses his stick. The Huskers trying to get an offensive attack going. Can't quite do it. Now this one repossessed by Lai. He'll send it through looking for Bebler, and it will end up all the way into the Husker defensive zone where Del Sante will take it behind the net and try to set up the offense here for the Huskers. Del Sante now with a full head of steam past the blue line into the attacking zone. Del Sante looking for someone in the middle. He has him in a shot, just couldn't quite get all the way through. Now it'll be Quevedo. On the corner, huge hit from McLeese on Quevedo. And now Del Sante in the opposite corner. He'll fire it through. And it will be Rothenberger coming up with it for the Huskers, but he can't quite keep possession as the defensive play was made by Tam Swiler. Now coming through the middle of the zone is Alex Schumacher. He'll shoot, and eventually it will end up behind the net now. Another shot on the near side. Quinn keeps it out. That one bouncing off a couple of sticks and skates, and it will be repossessed by the Blue Jays in the attacking zone. trying to get it out is Rothenberger, and he does, and now he's skating after it. He's going to get there first, but a great defensive play from Tommy Sieve. But now Rothenberger's got it, and he has a man, but the play is made by Lucas Manzarigo and keeps it at a 4-2 lead for the Creighton Blue Jays. That one's sent deep into the Husker attacking zone, but it's come up with by Manzarigo. Now Lazari trying to keep it right out near the blue line, and it gets out. Now Creighton trying to get on the attack. They'll send it just deep into the corner, and Coe will be back to retrieve it for the Huskers. He'll send it off the half wall where Cager Lucas is there, but eventually Locker of the Blue Jays able to come up with it. Now a shot from the point, and it goes all the way through where Coe will collect behind the Husker net. Looking to set something up here are the Huskers, trailing by 2 as we tick towards 5 minutes to go in this game. Seibel working deep. Caleb Seibel now pulls up, and he'll try to shoot off a deflection. It goes wide. Now Lazari looking for something below the goal line, tries to get it back up to Coe. Coe's got it now at the point. Coe will shoot from the point. A chance inside. Cager Lucas down there. He couldn't quite get it to go. Another save from Joey Bertram. He's been feasting in this third period. It is now Seibel on the corner looking for an offensive opportunity for the Huskers. That one off of Cager Lucas. Now he's behind the net trying to get it in there. He can't do it. And it will go all the way through for Charles Clements. Clements will shoot way high off the corner, and Cager Lucas trying to possess it, but the Blue Jays keep it in for now, and they will. Still in the offensive zone are the Blue Jays. Another shot from Clements. This one doesn't go, and Lazari's got it. He'll send it high into the center of the ice, and Kobe Butts comes up with it now for the Huskers. Butts with the chance. He'll shoot, and the save is made once again by Joey Bertram. A little bit of extracurriculars on Butts there, but it looks like we'll get out of here with no penalties. Schmelzer getting pulled away by the refs now.
I mean, Ethan, that was almost 5 minutes without a stoppage in play, and still teams are going back and forth shots. We might actually have a call here.
Yeah, it looks like the ref is going over towards the box, and he'll send somebody into the box. It will be Kobe Butts of the Huskers going in to the penalty box, and this is absolutely crucial with 4 minutes and 36 seconds left to go in the game. The Huskers will have to go on the kill, and down by 2. They needed to score soon, and that is not going to help.
Right, so now for half of the time remaining, or roughly half, the Huskers will be down a man, and as we've seen in time past, especially against this Creighton team, that usually doesn't bode well for Nebraska.
It will be Charles Clements in the faceoff circle for the Blue Jays, and Sives got it now at the point. He'll send it through to Camden Lai. The Jays on the power play once again, looking to extend this lead to 3 and pretty much put it out of reach. The Huskers trying to keep it close if they can. Schmelzer diving in. Eventually the Jays keep possession though. Now this one to Camden Lai. Camden Lai looking down towards the corner, and it will be collected by Bebler. He gets it over to Clements. And now Sieve at the blue line keeps it in. This one all the way back to the captain, Locker. Locker now working back towards centering pass for Lai. He can't quite keep possession, and it's going to be sent through. Schmelzer chasing after it for the Huskers. Good job by Merchant to clear that puck. Sieve comes up with it, though, for the Blue Jays, and they'll try to reset here on the power play. It will be Locker back to Sieve. Sieve now working in to the attacking zone. He'll shoot, snapshot off a couple of defenders. Eventually it gets through, and that will be a goal for Tommy Sieve and a 5-2 Creighton Blue Jay lead.
An unfortunate series of events as Colby Butts will now walk out of the penalty box. He will skate on over to his bench. He throws his arms up. There's a tad of frustration over there on that side of the ice. The refs are actually grouped up talking about something right now. And the last thing you'd want is for another Husker to hit the head in there. We'll meet at center ice, though, and Ethan, I was talking about it pretty much the entire period. If Nebraska was able to get it to 4-3, then that game was a lot closer than you think. It's closer than one goal, even though, literally it's a one-goal lead for Creighton. But now this one seems fairly out of reach for Nebraska. They'd have to score about a goal a minute to even just tie it here.
Yeah, now down 5-2. Gonna need a quick one here if they want to put any pressure on these Blue Jays, but it's looking like the Blue Jays are going to get a 4-game sweep in this D3 club hockey series between the Huskers and the Blue Jays. We are about 3 minutes left to go in this one, as it will be Shanahan working in the defensive zone for the Huskers. Adamski now trying to get his stick loose so he can get this puck out of the defensive zone, but the Creighton will send it farther in. Grayson Boyd now has it for the Huskers. He'll send it back towards the net. Shanahan behind his net trying to get it out. Adamski will send it out, and now Cavedo finally gets it through. Cavedo got a little bit of space in front of him, only Sieve in between him and the net. He can't quite get it through Sieve, though, and that one goes all the way through towards Adamski. Now it gets out of the zone on the near side. Grayson Boyd tries to get it out, but Pino will work it in for an attacking opportunity for the Blue Jays. Pino will shoot it in, and it will be gloved by Quinn, and he'll drop it off for Del Sante. Del Sante now working past the blue line into the neutral zone. He'll get pinched by Christian Pino, and it will be a chance for the Blue Jays, but Kobe Butts comes and lays the boom on Charles Clements, and Butts trying to get some offense going after he had to serve a penalty late in this third period. Now in the attacking zone, Clements comes up with it for the Blue Jays. Sabanski sends it back in for the Huskers. This one goes all the way through and working deep. It is going to be Schumacher for the Blue Jays. He'll send it towards the net. Kanan Quinn gets it off his blocker, and eventually it will be repossessed, though, for Creighton and Schumacher. Now Clements has it. He's working on the near side boards. That one will eventually clear through, and Beester trying to get it out of here. Right in front of us on the red line. These guys are fighting, Beester and McLeese, and now Beester looks like his shoulder popped out. And eventually this one goes back through a huge shot. Del Sante putting his body on the line, and it goes wide. Now Del Sante comes up with it for the Huskers. That one goes all the way through into the neutral zone. Now back in the defensive end, Cavedo picks it off for the Huskers. Schmelzer's got it. Rothenberger looking for Cavedo. Cavedo can't quite find the puck, though. And it will be McLeese as we tick under 60 seconds to go in this final period of play. The Huskers are going to pull their goalie, and it's looking like a great opportunity here for Swiler to score, and he will. The diving attempt from Jawan Kim couldn't keep it out, and Swiler will score the dagger to make it 6-2 Blue Jays with 45.8 seconds to go in the final period of this one.
Beester's shoulder pops out. Quinn skates off for the empty netter. And Swiler then finds the back of the net after that. Not a great series of events for Nebraska. I believe, what is that? We've got a broken stick as well on the Nebraska side. Overall, not a great, 2 periods here. Not a great 40 minutes of hockey. They'll play the 45 seconds left, though. They'll play their hearts out. They'll lay some booms, as this is the last time they will see Creighton this season.
Adamski sends it through, and it goes past the blue line where Coe's got it now. This one held by Bebler. Eventually Coe repossesses for the Huskers. He's trying to work some offense. They got a 3-on-2 opportunity. Coe just shoots. Good blocker save from Bertram. That one off the boards, and Bertram will grab it with the glove, and it will be another offensive zone faceoff for the Huskers. Bertram has been lights out in this third period and really all night long.
20 seconds left in the game here. Looks like Creighton's got it all wrapped up with a 4-goal lead. That'll most likely be a 4-game sweep over the course of 2 weekends. One was played up in Omaha. The other head-to-head series was played here in Lincoln last night, and then obviously today. Ethan, I'll hand it back to you for the final seconds of the game.
Sabanski fighting on the boards, and it'll eventually clear through as we're ticking through these final seconds. Huskers maybe trying one last time. Studeman will just send it deep, and that'll tick the final seconds off the clock, and it will be 6-2. Creighton Blue Jays win after a tough weekend for the Huskers, and Jawan Kim shot that puck after the clock was expired, and he's getting a talking to from the ref. But either way, this one's over, and the Blue Jays win 6-2, and we'll have some handshakes after 4 games in a row between these two teams. A lot of animosity was built up in that 4-game series.
Just a very, very strange turn of events. And Ethan, I think, if there's one stat in particular, not a specific goal, assist, anything like that, but, this is a stat in of itself, is that for the 4 games they played, at the end of the first period, for 3 of those 4 games, Nebraska either led or the game was tied. There was only one game. It was the first one of the 4 where after the first 20 minutes of play, Creighton had a lead. So Overall, I think that just shows how good of a second period team this Creighton squad is. They played their hearts out every single time they were stuck in a second period situation where they were down and they had to either take the lead back, tie it up, or just absolutely pull away with the game. I mean, we talked about it last weekend. There was a second period. They scored 5 goals in that 120-minute period of time, and you can't coach that. That's just the guys pulling together. So, obviously, caps off to Creighton for being able to play so well in the second period and then get the job done and pull away in the third. As for Nebraska, though, emotions are flying. Sticks are flying, too. You saw Jawan Kim after the game there just flick the puck to the other side of the ice. The refs had to calm him down a little bit. I'm sure, those flarings have gone down a little bit. But overall, not a great showing from Nebraska, but there's a lot to learn there. Creighton, they only have 3 games left on their schedule after this. Nebraska has a ton. They play, all throughout December, January, February. They've got a lot of games left. So a lot of time to get a couple more wins on the schedule. As for Creighton, though, their season is coming to a close very soon.
Yeah, really frustrating weekend and frustrating last 2 weeks for the Huskers. They dropped all 4 to their rival Creighton Blue Jays, and this is one where it felt like they were kind of in it. Yeah. They weren't getting completely outplayed for most of this game, just down 4-2 heading into the third, and Joey Bertram just an absolute brick wall in net for the Creighton Blue Jays all night long. And just not being able to score, the frustration eventually sets in at the end. You saw with Jawan Kim there, and a penalty late in the game that they didn't necessarily agree with that kind of threw any comeback chance out the window. Just a tough ending to a tough series for this Division III Nebraska team that now falls to 2-12 on the season after starting out 2-0. Really tough last couple of months for this Husker team, but that will be all we have for you today here from the John Breslow Ice Center. Final score 6-2 Creighton. This was D3 Club Hockey on Nebraska News Service.
Good night, Nebraska.